Good morning, 8th graders. It's time for another grammar lesson. I haven't finished grading all of your tests. Actually, Google Classroom is grading them for me, so I didn't have to do a whole lot. It was harder to make the test out than it was to grade it. But so far, most of you have done very well on Chapter 13. We are starting Chapter 14. If you have your book or your copy of your book, that is on using adjectives and adverbs. And so that's where we're starting today. All right, so today, we're going to start with comparisons of adjectives and adverbs. Now, if you have forgotten, you have your pocket grammar book to help you remember what an adjective and an adverb are. But an adjective is a word that describes or modifies a noun or a pronoun. An adverb is a word that modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. So remember, we had those questions. Adjectives answer which one, what kind, how many. And adverbs answer the question when, where, how, and to what extent, and sometimes why. All right, so that's just a little review. All right, so today we're going to be talking about adjectives and adverbs and how pretty much they have three forms that are called comparisons. And they are called degrees of comparison. So we have the positive, we have the comparative, we have the superlative. Those are big fancy words for something that most of you already know how to do. So that's what we're going to be going over today. All right, so to start off, we have the word large. So when you're comparing two things, that would be the comparative form. But if you're comparing more than two things, that would be the superlative. So it's like a super comparison as opposed to a regular comparison. So we might say the elephant is large. Or we could say the elephant is larger than the hippo, maybe. So comparative would be larger. So a lot of times you just add ER or an R if it ends with a vowel to your comparative form. And then superlative would be the elephant is the largest animal at the zoo. So that would be comparing it to more than one thing. Largest, okay? All right, so that's pretty easy. If we could only do that, that would make life so much easier, right? But sometimes there are some exceptions, and we'll be talking about that. Sometimes there are some spelling changes too. So if you look at funny, we have a spelling change here. So we would say funny, funnier. So when that happens, you drop the Y and change it to I and add an ER, and then funniest. Now some of you are saying to yourself, I already know this. I learned this a long time ago. I know how to use this lesson. That's great. For you, it's just a review. For some of you, you might need me to go over all of the rest of this. So hopefully we can make this short and sweet. All right, so happy would be happier and happiest. All right, so these are your adjectives. Now let's do some adverbs. All right, so we have quickly. Now quickly is an adverb that is a little different because we don't say quicklier and quickliest. This is one that we have to add more and most to. So some two-syllable adjectives and adverbs, you have to use more and most instead of changing the ending. And on a lot of the 3+ syllable adverbs and adjectives, you have to do the same thing. So quickly is going to be more quickly, and most quickly. It's really hard to reach to the end of my board. I'm sorry, it's a little messy. Early. Right, this one has a spelling change, so we're not going to use the more and most. Early, earlier, earliest. Fast, this is a one syllable, this one's pretty easy. Faster, fastest. difficult. Okay, this is a 3+ syllable, difficult. So most of the time, I would probably say all of the time, but I don't like to say all the time, but we're going to say pretty much all the time. If it's 3+ syllables, you're going to use more and most. More difficult, most difficult. And then we have frequently, so more frequently. Most frequently. All right, so that's just a little overview into making comparisons with adverbs and adjectives. And I'm going to be posting your assignment on Google Classroom. So you aren't going to have to write it on paper. You're just going to answer it on the computer, okay? So we are going to be doing exercise 2. If you want to go ahead and look over it, page 219. And you'll have your choices online. Also, there are some irregular comparisons too. So there's some adjectives and adverbs that are compared in an irregular manner. Now, I'm not going to write all of those down because I know a lot of you can read, but I'm going to give you a couple of examples, okay? So irregular would be something like bad, badly, because we know that's right, bad and badly. We don't say bad if we're using it as an adverb. We would say worse and worst. Okay, so that one's irregular. It doesn't fit the rules. Another one might be good and well. Okay, so what do you think that would be? Good and well. Better and best for both. Okay, another one would be little little. Okay, so that would be less and least. And I'm running out of room, but the last one would be much and many. I'll just erase that one. Much and many. This is adjective, adverb. Much and many, and you would have more and most. So those are some that you might see that you think, wait a minute, I'm not sure about that one. So those are also irregular. And so we're going to be combining a couple of our exercises. I'm going to go ahead and post both of them, but you can do one today and one tomorrow. All right, good hunting.